शशिवर्णं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ये इसको जरा ऑन करें। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूतमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। So we are going to look at Hanuman Chalisa, I thought. It, as I mentioned to someone, it is the right time to do this because of the Shani transit. So even though this was not the original idea, but we found out that Shani also happens to be transiting at this time, and it's affecting many people's, going into many people's house. The 7.5 years are starting. So, and Hanumanji, besides doing Priti for Shani, also chanting of Hanuman Chalisa is considered to be very auspicious. So it's perfect. Also in the temple here they are going to start chanting Hanuman Chalisa twice a week. So it's a good time to see this. What I thought we would do is to begin with, we will chant Hanuman Chalisa one time and then look at the text. So let us start by doing that. Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raja Nij Mana Mukuru Sudhari Varanau Raghubara Bimala Yasha Jodayak Phalchari Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumirau Pavana Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vikar Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar Jai Kapi Sati Huloka Ujagar Ramaduta Tulit Baladhama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama Mahabhira Vikrama Bajrangi Kumati Nivar Sumati Ke Sangi Kanchana Bharana Viraj Subesha Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesha Hat Vajra Udvaja Viraje Kandhe Muj Jane Usaje Shankara Suvana Kesari Nandan Tej Pratap Mahajagvandan Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur Ram Kaj Karibe Ko Atur Prabhu Charitra Sunibe Ko Rasiya Ram Lakhan Sita Man Basiya Sukshma Roop Dhari Siyahi Dikhawa Vikat Roop Dhari Lanka Jarava Bhima Roop Dhari Asura Sahare Ramchandra Ke Kaj Savare Laye Sajeevan Lakhan Jiyaje Shri Raghubir Har Siur Laye रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम्हरो यश गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा, नारद शारद सहित अहीशा। यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाँ ते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाँ ते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाए राजपद दीना। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। युग सहस्त्र योजन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुआरे। अष्ट सिद्धि चौनधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा, सदा रसा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे। जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुपति पुर जाई। जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्तन धरई। हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट हरे मिटे सब पीरा। जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई। कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई। छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा। होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा। कीजय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा, पवन तनय संकट हरन। मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित। हृदय बसव सुरभूप, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। So in the chanting, immediately you notice there seems to be two versions of chanting. That is more in terms of the language. The original Hanuman Chalisa was written by Goswami Tulsidas ji, the same person who wrote Ramcharitmanas. And the language in which it is written is called Awadhi language. is similar to, close to Bridge Bhasha also. So one version of this is in Awadhi language, and another version sometimes you find which is more Hindi, where more Hindi words are used. And as different people recite it, sometimes they don't really strictly follow either one. So you might see a combination of some Awadhi words and Hindi words used. But basically it's the same, it's all the same, but just slight difference in some of the letters. So this, it was written by Goswami Tulsidas. Hanuman Chalisa is in, there are two types of verses here. One is called as Doha and one is called as Chaupai. So the first, in the beginning and at the end, they are prayer verses which are in the Doha, called Doha, and then the 40 verses are called Chaupai, the Chaupai format, like Chatushpad, 4 parts. Chalisa means 40, Chalis. So it is a prayer composed of 40 verses, preceding prayer verse, concluding prayer verse, and then the Chalisa in between, where these 40 verses are looked upon as mantras, almost like mantras. So what is it about this Hanuman Chalisa that makes it so unique, makes it so popular, and makes it so well known? It's amazing, especially in the North India, if you see, it is a very, very well known. Just about everybody knows Hanuman Chalisa, and they recite it, knows this prayer. I was amazed to see in Trinidad how people have held on to this tradition of chanting Hanuman Chalisa. Every child there knows. There was, I happened to be there last year during this Hanuman Jayanti period, and they have a radio station where they play only Hindu songs. It's a Hindu thing. It's the only Hindu radio station in the world where they play bhajans all day long. And since it was Hanuman Jayanti, they were playing this Hanuman Chalisa for hours and hours. But it was amazing to see the varieties of chanting of the same Hanuman Chalisa with different people chanting with slight different ragas and tunes. It was just so beautiful to hear that all day. So, but then of course it's a prayer, it's a great prayer. But at the same time there is something more, because in understanding Hanumanji, really we get to understand what is bhakti. Bhakti is not something that one easily understands what it is. It's also not something that is easily discovered. We think we know what is bhakti. In fact, people always talk about bhakti being the easy path. But then when you ask somebody what is this bhakti, you really cannot come up, no two people come up with the same answer. Feelings. Suppose I ask you to please think of a particular feeling, like anger. I say please think of anger, and immediately you all are able to think of this particular anger because everyone has experienced this. Or if I ask you to think of sadness, if I ask you to think of anxiety, think of worry, think of fear. So these are emotions which have been experienced. This you can all easily relate to, and you know exactly what I am talking about. Suppose I now say, try to think of bhakti. What happens in your mind? There is no particular emotion that comes up which has been experienced. Even if something comes up, each one has their own idea. So one person thinks of some bhakta, Mirabai. Bhakti means in another person's mind Hanumanji comes. In another person's mind some bhajan comes. In another person's mind some deity comes. So thus, in another person's mind you visualize somebody sitting there and crying in front of an altar. or somebody singing, or somebody dancing. So thus, we all have different ideas of what are the different expressions of bhakti. Not really bhakti. These are only expressions. Not everybody who cries is a bhakta. Not everybody who dances is a bhakta. But then, these are only expressions of bhakti. We don't really understand what is bhakti in terms of an emotion. Because it's not an emotion. It's not a particular emotion. Then what is it? Well, I would say bhakti is a state of the mind. It is a sentiment, particular sentiment, which is composed of complex emotions. It's a complex sentiment composed of many varieties of feelings. There is respect, there is love, there is looking up to somebody who is bigger than us, who is above us. There is servitude, there is humility. There are many aspects, many different feelings. They all go together to form this sentiment of bhakti. So this is something that is there within us, which has to be uncovered, really speaking. One cannot command bhakti. I cannot will myself to feel, to have this sentiment, like I cannot will myself to have any particular emotion. I cannot will myself to have any particular sentiment. Suppose I say, so do you know how to feel love? Suppose somebody asks you, your child comes up in front of you and asks you, Dad, Mom, please can you tell me, I am old enough now, tell me how to experience this sentiment of love. Do you know what it is? Now, of course I know what it is. I love Mom, Dad loves Mom, Mom loves Dad. They know what it is. But then if your child comes up and asks you, what are you going to say? Dad, how am I going to experience this love? What should I do? Then of course you say, well, there is nothing to do. There is nothing you can do. All you can do, if at all, is to just wait. When the time is right, when the environment is correct, when you meet the right person, then you will discover within yourself this particular sentiment which is there already in a potential form. Not experienced by you perhaps. So thus, bhakti is also something like that. It is something that has to be discovered within ourselves. It is not really absent. It is there in a potential form. Why do I say that? Why do I say it is there? Because the bhakta is there. Why is the bhakta there? Because Bhagavan is there. Because the Lord is there. Because the cause is there. Because the Creator is there. We are created beings. There is a fundamental relationship between the created and the Creator. Between the cause and the effect. And therefore between the bhakta and is Ishvara and Parameshvara. So this relationship is there. It is not a new relationship that is made, but it is a relationship whose nature has to be discovered within ourselves. For which, what should I do? I have to create the right environment. How do I create the right environment? Well, I create the right environment by listening to, understanding what this Lord is. And so, in understanding Sri Hanumanji, once we get to discover who is Hanumanji, really speaking, in discovering him, we will discover the Bhakta who is within us. Therefore, and this whole Hanuman Chalisa, besides being a prayer, it really opens up, it unfolds the nature of Sri Hanumanji, what he was all about. And in discovering him, we come to discover within ourselves also, like he was the Bhakta whose expressions of bhakti he showed in relationship to the Lord, to Sri Rama. The same way we can also discover that Bhakta within us. So as we look at this, we will also look at his life in order to try and understand what Sri Hanumanji was. So, Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raja Nijamana Mukuru Sudhar. Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raja. This is the prayer verse. So see, Charanam is feet. Saroja is the Kamalam. So it's a prayer. So before the work is begin, the poet offers a prayer unto his teacher. He says, so with the blessings of the Raja is dust, with the blessings of the dust from the feet, from the holy lotus feet of my teacher. Nija mana mukura sudhari. Mukuram is darpanam, mirror. So I have cleansed the mirror of the mind. The mirror that is the mind, mind that is the mirror. This mind has to be cleansed in order to pray, in order to discover the Lord. The mind has to be cleansed. And the mind is like a mirror. Why is it like a mirror? Mind should be like a camera. They say, no, like the eyes are like a camera, because they take the picture of the world. This mind also, it reflects what the world is outside. But not only what the world is outside, it also reflects myself. So I myself am reflected in this mind. Vishwam darpana drishya mana nagari tulyam nijantargata. The whole universe, the whole jagat, the whole world is experienced where? In the mind. In the mind, which acts like a mirror that reflects this image of this whole world. Not only that, in this same mind, one also discovers the nature of oneself. And it requires a certain kind of a mind to do that. It is a mind that is pure, a mind that has been cleansed. Like a dusty mirror, doesn't reflect anything clearly. So also, a mind which is full of conflicts and confusion will not reveal its essential nature. Thus, having cleansed the mind with the blessing of the Guru, with the teacher, Mukura Sudhari, Baranau Raghubara Vimala Yash, Jo Dayak Phalachari. Baranau means I describe. Varananam, I describe what? So Raghubara is, so Raghukule Shreshtaha, the one who's the most exalted in this family of Raghus is called Raghuvir. So Vimala Yash, whose fame is Vimalam, untarnished, because he was Dharmatma. He was an icon of Dharma, thus whose fame is untarnished, and who prayer unto whom, what happens? The Lord, he is the Lord. Sri Rama is the Lord. He is Dayaka Phalachari. He is the one who gives these 4 kinds of phalam, 4 kinds of results. What are the 4 kinds of results? They are connected to the 4 Purusharthas. So, there are 4 Purusharthas, 4 kinds of goals that human beings seek in life. Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. So, seeking arthas, various ends, various securities, seeking Kama, pleasures, seeking Dharma, living a life of righteousness, and ultimately seeking Moksha or freedom from all limitation. Thus, these are the 4 fundamental goals of a human being. All pursuits in life can be categorized within these 4 goals, and he is the Lord who, as Karma Phaladata, gives the fruits of all the actions. He gives this 4-fold phalam to me. Thus he becomes Dayaka of these 4 goals. Baranau Raghubara Bimala Yasha Jodayak Phalchar Buddhihina Tanujanike Sumirau Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vikar. Buddhihina Tanujanike Sumirau Pavan Kumar. Sumirau, I remember I remember I worship whom? Pavan Kumar. Pavan Kumar is so Hanumanji, Sri Hanumanji, who is the son of Vayu Devata. I remember him. What makes me remember him? Buddhi hina tanu janike. Tanu means oneself. So seeing oneself, recognizing within me what? That I am buddhihinam, balahinam, vidyahinam. Hinam means devoid. So I am devoid of knowledge to begin with, vidya. General knowledge is not there. Knowledge of right and wrong is not clear. Then even if this knowledge is there, jnanam is there, buddhi is not there in the sense. So it is one thing to know things, it's another thing to be able to act upon them. It's another thing to have clarity upon them. So Duryodhana has said, so I know janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi, janami adharmam nachame nivrittihi. So I know what is right, but I am not able to do it. I know what is wrong, I am not able to avoid it. Kenopi margena hridisthitena yatha prayuktomi tatha karomi. In whatever way my mind seems to go, in that way I seem to follow it. Thus, one needs not only jnanam, but one needs to know, one needs buddhi, one needs clarity of mind. And then of course, so balam also, strength. One needs the strength here, not only physical strength, but also inner strength and emotional strength to be able to do the right thing. So thus, recognizing that I am hinam, I am devoid of adequately having all these three, I remember Sri Hanumanji. Why him? Because he had all of these. In immense measure he had all of these. Then I prayed to him to please give me this. Bala buddhi vidya dehu mohi. Please bless me that I may have such qualities whereby harahu kalesha vikar. Harahu, whereby these kleshas are removed. All the afflictions, all the deficiencies, all the tapatrayam, all the sorrows that I have, whether they are in terms sorrows within myself, afflictions within myself, around me, that are there, that I am born with, that I am subject to, all these may they be removed. Not only that, vikara. Vikara is all the deformations, deviations from the norm. Anything that takes me away from my essential being. So may all these negativities be removed from within me by your grace, by your blessing. Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar, Jai Kapi Satihu Lok Ujagar. Jai Hanuman, Jaya means victory. Victory be to all. I pray to Sri Hanumanji, who is what? Jnana Guna Sagar, who is the ocean of what? Of Jnanam and of Gunas, of qualities. How is he Gunas? So the Gunas of Sri Hanumanji have been talked about in Ramayana. So very, very clearly by Sri Valmiki. It is not for me to describe what are Sri Hanumanji's great qualities. I thought the best way to recognize them, to learn about them, is to see what has been said about them in Ramayana itself. So thus we will see some verses from Valmiki Ramayana, perhaps from Ramcharitmanas also, contextually about Sri Hanumanji. So he was an ocean of gunas, of qualities and of knowledge. In Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, there is the last section called Uttarakanda. After the whole thing is over, there is a dialogue between Sri Rama and Agastya Muni. And in this dialogue, they are talking about what had transpired. And in their discussion, they also talk about the greatness of some of the characters that were there, and how strong they were, and how brave, how courageous, and what all great qualities they had. And they talked about characters like Vali, like Sugriva, like Vibhishana, even like Ravana. And as the discussion is progressing, and there Sri Rama says, finally he says, so these were all great people, there were many great people, but then there is nobody who is equal to Hanumanji. So who can compare to Sri Hanumanji? And he says these words. So I'll read that. Shauryam dakshyam balam dhairyam prajnata naya sadhanam vikramascha prabhavascha Hanumati Kritalayaha. Hanumati Kritalayaha. Kritalayaha means they are well accomplished. They are well accomplished in Sri Hanumanji. What? These gunas, these qualities. Shauryam. Shauryam is valor, bravery. There was nobody as brave as Sri Hanumanji. So he had no fear, really speaking. He didn't know what was fear. Anything to be done, he would just be ready to do it. Dakshyam. Dakshyam is competence. One can be brave, but then one can also put oneself in danger. So he is not only brave, but he was always competent. If he took on a task, he was able to accomplish it and fulfill it. Not only that, Balam, he has the strength to take on anything. Dhairyam, not only strength, but patience. Patience is unusual for a Vanara. Vanara is generally impulsive and impatient, whereas Hanumanji has a lot of patience. When he had to wait, he could wait for a situation to unfold. Prajnata, dhairyam. Dhairyam, patience that we saw. Or prajnata is intelligence, of course. So Hanumanji was very, very intelligent. We will see examples of that later on. Naya sadhanam. Naya sadhanam is niti, the course. What is the course of action to be taken in a given situation? What is right, what is wrong? He had very good understanding of dharma, adharma. Vikramaha. Vikramaha is heroism. So there's nobody like him. Not only himself able to do things, but also inspire. What is this quality of being a hero? It's nothing. Hero, sometimes you look at it as a problem also. But then when you say somebody has heroism, really speaking, he has the capacity to inspire other people, or other people look up to him. In the battlefield, when all the Vanaras, hundreds of them, were wounded, then their Jambavan comes and tells Hanumanji that you are the only person who can again revive them, who can again inspire them. Looking at him, when there was a battle, when somebody, Rakshasa, was there and was creating havoc among the Vanaras, Hanumanji showing up, everybody gets inspired and again starts fighting. So he was really truly the hero that way. Prabhavaha. Prabhavaha is dignity or luster, brilliance. That is Prabhava. He comes means immediately he is somebody who is to contend with, to be noticed. Na kalasya na shakrasya na vishnor vittapasya cha karmani tani shruyante yani yuddhe hanumataha. Na kalasya na shakrasya na vishnoho vittapasya cha karmani shruyante yuddhe. So there is no, in the battlefield, in any battle, we do not hear of accomplishments such as were the accomplishments of Sri Hanumanji. Even when you think of other devatas like Indra, like Vishnu, like Varuna, you think of all the devatas, their feats in different battles come nowhere near what the feats that were accomplished by Sri Hanumanji. Hanuman yadi me na syat vanaradhipate sakha pravrittim apiko vetum janakya shaktiman bhavet. Hanuman yadi me na syat sakha vanaradhipate sakha. If Hanumanji, who is what? Who is Vanaradhipati? Who is Vanaradhipati? Is Sugriva, no? The king of Vanaras, his friend Hanumanji. So he says, if Sri Hanumanji, who is the friend of Sugriva, was not there with me, was not there on my side, then kaha pravrittim api vetum janakyaha. So who would even have the capability or the capacity to go and find Janaki, or to go and find Sita? There was nobody else who had the capacity to be able to do that. Then Agastya Muni, of course, agrees with all Sri Rama is saying, and he adds his own 2 words. And he says, he talks of his guna sagara, and also his jnanam, his wisdom. Parakramotsahamati pratapa saushilya madhurya nayanayaischa gambhirya chaturya suvirya dhairya hanumata kopyadikosti loke. Parakrama is again courage, victoriousness. Utsaha, perseverance. Has a job to be done, he will persevere until it is accomplished, not give up. A lot of people start, they are called Arambha Shuras. They start a project and not able to finish it. In fact, keep starting new projects and then keep leaving it. No, persevering. Utsaha, matihi buddhi, having the necessary intelligence. Pratapa is radiance, majesty. Saushilyam, good conduct, proper conduct, good conduct. Madhuryam is gentleness. So with all this strength and bravery and courage, he could be not gentle, So he can be like a bull in a china shop. Any time he walks this way, that way, everybody has to run away from him. No. At the same time, very gentle in his mannerism, in his actions. Naya nayahi, in conduct and good conduct, right conduct, wrong conduct. In all of these. Then Gambhiryam, he also has a certain seriousness. Gambhiryam is a depth, there's a depth to the person, not superficial. There are people who may be pleasant, but everything is superficial. Whereas a Gambhiraha is a person who has a certain intensity, has a certain depth to what he says, to what he does, so that he has a certain credibility. Gambhiryam gives rise to credibility. Then Chaturyam is intelligence, cleverness. Suviryaha, bravery. Dhairyam, patience, poise. Hanumataha, that are seen in all Hanumanji. Ko api adhikaha asti loke. There is nobody in this whole world who has these qualities more than Sri Hanumanji does. Sasutra vrityartha padam mahartham sasangraham siddhyati vai kapindraha न ह्यस्य कश्चित् सदृशोऽस्ति शास्त्रे वैशारदे छन्दगतौ तथैव ससूत्र वृत्त्यर्थपदम. Now he talks about his jnanam, the knowledge. Look at this. This is the kind of knowledge he has. When it comes to bhasha, when it comes to language, he says sutra vritti arthapadam. Sutra is what? Sutras are the grammar, the aphorisms, grammar sutras. Then vritti is the explanation of the sutra is called vritti. Arthapadam is, so the meaning of the words, which is what is called as vartikam. So in a vartikam, these are the different types of commentaries that are there when in Sanskrit you see. So sutras are the aphorisms, then they have a meaning called as vritti. Then each word is explained, that is called as like a word meaning, that is called vartikam. Then mahartham is the explanation or bhashyam. Sasangraham is syntactical, compiling the words together. Siddhyanti vai kapindraha. So all of these are well known to him, are well understood by him. Nahi asya kaschit sadrishaha asti shastre. In Shastram, when it comes to the knowledge of the Shastram, not only grammar, but the whole scripture, there is nobody who compares to Sri Hanumanji. Asya sadrishaha asti nasti. There is no one equal to Sri Hanumanji. Vaisharade chandagatau tathaiva. He is also proficient in what? In meter, in poetry, in meter. Sarvasu vidyasu tapo vidhane praspardhate yam hi gurum suranam soyam navavyakaranaarthaveta brahma bhavishyatyapi te prasada. Sarvasu vidyasu tapo vidhane praspardhate ayam hi gurum surana. Praspardhate, he equals whom? Suranam gurum. Suranam gurum means the guru, teacher of the devas. Who is he? Brihaspati. So he equals Brihaspati even. In what? In Sarvasu Vidyasu. In all the different branches of Vidya. So we have what are called as Ashtadasha Vidyas. We have 18-fold branches of knowledge. The 4 Vedas, the 6 Vedangas, then the 4 Upavedas, 4 Upangas. So 12 plus 6, 18. These are called as Ashtadasha Vidya. So in all of this, also in tapas, not only having knowledge, brain knowledge, but also having tapajnanam. He is having performed tapas. He is great. Soyam. And not only that, he is Nava Vyakaranarthaveta. He is the one who knows the 9 systems of grammar. The 9 types of grammar. What are these 9 types of grammar? I thought grammar was only one grammar. So you can't have 9 different rules for one thing. No, these are not different. The rules are not different, but these are different models of grammar. In grammar you have models. So it's the same grammar, but different models of learning it. Like Ashtadhyayi, in our own experience, you see, suppose you want to study grammar. Then you go to a grammar classroom and the teacher follows a textbook. Which textbook he'll follow? So he'll follow Bhandarkar or he'll follow Antoine. Now if you look at these textbooks, they are not exactly the same. They have different approaches to teach you the grammar. Some start with word formation, some will start with sentence formation, some introduce verbs first, some introduce nouns first. So all kinds of different permutations and combinations are there. So these are the different models of grammar. There is Paninian Sutras. There are 2 ways of studying it. There is one Ashtadhyayi, one particular format, and the other one is called Siddhanta Kaumudi. So where the whole grammar, topic-wise, it is It is grouped differently. So there are different models, different systems. In those days there used to be these 9 systems of grammar described. Called as Aindram, Chandram, Kashakritsnam, Kaumaram, Shakatayanam, Sarasvatam, Chapishalam, Shakalam, Paniniyakam. There are 9 different models. He was well versed in all of them. One is difficult enough to study. So Hanumanji knew all the 9. He was proficient in them. Brahma bhavishyati api te prasada. So thus he is really uncomparable when it comes to gunas and vidya. Jai Hanuman Jnana Gun Sagar, Jai Kapis Tihu Loka Ujagar. So Kapis, Tihu Loka, the Lord of Kapis, the Lord of the Vanaras, all the 3 lokas, the one who is well known, he is well known. Ujagar is well known, or the one who enlightens. How enlightens? Sri Krishna enlightened in one way, through the Gita, by teaching Arjuna. Sri Hanumanji also enlightened the world by being who he was. He even maybe not taught in the same kind of a way, but by his gunas, by his life, by his actions, by his bhakti, by his devotion, he became the one who enlightened all the 3 worlds. Ramaduta atulit baldhama, Anjani putra pavan sutanama. Ramaduta atulit baldhama. Atulit baldhama, the one who has uncomparable strength, who is the messenger of Sri Rama, envoy, Ramasya Dutam, Ramadutam. So Ramadutam, he was the envoy of Sri Rama in many instances, not only Ravana. So to Ravana is very obvious. So Hanumanji went as an emissary of Rama to Ravana. He tells him, in fact, he tells Ravana, who are you? So Ravana doesn't ask him. He tells his minister to ask. Yeah, because he is a king, will only talk to a king. So therefore he tells his minister, find out who is this fellow. When Hanumanji was caught, he destroyed that vanam. And then he is caught. He allows himself to be caught, really speaking, because he wants to meet Ravana. And he is brought in front of Ravana. And then Ravana is very irritated at him because he destroyed one of his most beautiful groves. So thus he is very irritable. And Hanumanji keeps saying things to irritate him more and more. And so he asks him, who are you? Who is this fellow, monkey fellow? What are you doing here? And then he says, Ke nachid Rama karyena agatosmi tavantikam dutohamati vijnaya ragavasyami taujasaha shruyatameva vachanam mama pathyamidam prabho. He says, I have come here. I am Ramasya Dutam Aham Vijnaya. Know me to be an envoy of Sri Rama, whose strength is immense. I am just a mere messenger. And you can see what I did, what havoc I created, what destruction I have caused, and I am just a simple messenger of Sri Rama. He is the one who is the strong one, really speaking. So you can imagine what you can expect in the future. Kenachit Rama Karyena. So I have come with a message from Sri Rama for you. And I think Shruyatam eva mama vachanam pathyamidam. So I think you should listen to what I am going to tell you. I am going to advise you. Whatever advice I give, I think it is in your interest that you listen to what I have to say. Naturally, once he says this, so Ravana really loses his temper at him. So Rama Dutam Atulita, then Dutam, then not only with Ravana, then he also sent him as an emissary to Bharata later on. At the end of the war, he asked him to go to Bharata. And of course, he also sent him as an emissary to Sita. So thus, he truly was his messenger in all the important things that he had to do. And Atulita Baladhama, the one who had strength which is so Tulam, Atulyam, uncomparable, जिसकी तुलना नहीं की जाती, that kind of balam he had. Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama. Anjani Putra, the one who is the daughter of, the son of Anjana. Yeah, his mother's name was Anjana, and he was the son of Vayu Devata. So thus, Nama, his names, different names. So Hanumanji is one name. Then Anjani Putraha, Pavana Sutaha. Earlier we saw Pavana Kumar. Thus varieties of names connected to his parentage. So we'll stop at this point and then see further tomorrow. Next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.